Once upon a time, in the heart of the Ashanti kingdom, there lived a woman named Abena, famed for her skill in weaving the most exquisite kente clothes. Her patterns shimmered like gold in the sun, and her clothes were sought after by kings and nobles. But no one knew her secret. Her loom was enchanted, and the threads she wove were spun from something far darker than silk. Abena had learned her craft from an old woman deep in the forest, a mysterious figure who had given her a spindle made from human bone. "This will make your clothes the most beautiful in all the land," the old woman had promised. "But you must never stop weaving. If you do, the spirits will come for their payment." And so Abena wove, night and day, her fingers never resting. But as the years passed, strange things began to happen. The patterns on her clothes seemed to shift and move like living things. Those who wore her garments would sometimes whisper of voices in the night, of unseen hands brushing against them, and of dreams filled with restless shadows. One day, a young prince by name Kofi ordered a robe from Abena because he was enchanted by the beauty of her work. When he donned it for the first time, he felt an eerie warmth spread over his skin. That night, he was plagued by nightmares, visions of a dark pit filled with voices crying for release. When he awoke, he found himself standing outside Abena's hut, as though drawn there by something unseen. Determined to uncover the truth, Kofi crept inside and found Abena at her loom, weaving by the dim light of a flickering lantern. Her face was gaunt, her fingers moving with unnatural speed. And then he saw it. The threads of her clothes were not made of silk or cotton, twisting and wriggling like living things. "Abena," he whispered, his voice trembling, "what are you weaving?" She turned to him, her eyes hollow, her lips quivering. "I cannot stop," she said. "If I stop, they will take me." As she spoke, the shadows in the cloth began to pulse, stretching outward and forming the shape of grasping hands. Kofi stepped back in horror as the room filled with whispers, dozens of voices, pleading, crying, and cursing. Realizing the truth, Kofi grabbed the burning torch and threw it at the loom. The moment the flames touched the cloth, the hut erupted with a deafening scream. The shadows shrieked and coiled away, and Abena collapsed, her body dissolving into blackened dust. When the fire died down, nothing remained of her loom, only a pile of fine ash and the faintest echo of a whisper in the wind. From that day on, no one spoke of Abena or her clothes, but in the deepest parts of the forest, travelers sometimes claimed to hear the soft sound of a loom weaving in the night, its threads made of something far more terrible than silk. Thank you for listening.